It is official, ladies and gents. Rwanda launches official bid for an F1 race. This is an iconic moment. I made a video on this months ago, that there were rumors, there were talks, discussions between the Rwandan government and the FIA in regarding to hosting a race, bringing F1 back to Africa. So F1 is edging closer to a return to the African continent with a push for a Grand Prix in Rwanda. And currently, it's moving along quite swiftly. It's looking like a very possible thing. It's looking concrete. And I said this in my former video. I made this statement very obvious. I said it very clearly that if Rwanda wanted a Formula One race, they're going to get a Formula One race. I had no doubt. It wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. And you can go back and watch that video if you want clarifications. I recently saw some clips and some videos and some photographs of the iconic moment of the Formula One 2024 prize-giving ceremony that was taken part in Rwanda, in Kigali. This was all done at the BK Arena in Rwanda. If you don't know what that looks like, this is what the arena looks like in Rwanda. This is where it took place. And I must say, with the presentation, with the entire event, it was absolutely phenomenal. It was a moment of something to be proud of. The BK Arena has hosted many, many events, but none quite like this. So this was the event that was taking place. This is just a short clip just to show you some of the guests that arrived, the presentation, the entire event, seen as something that was surreal 10 years ago. 10 years ago, this would have been unheard of, but thankfully, it is becoming a reality in Africa. It's becoming a reality due to the commitment from Rwanda. So I'm really proud of Rwanda and the development they've been able to make economically, business-wise. Attracting more international investment to Rwanda is essential, and they've done a phenomenal job at that very thing. And hosting this event, they had people of all ages, racing drivers of all ethnicities and backgrounds, showcasing their skills during the prize-giving ceremony. This was great to see, and this is what will take place even more and more. Fantastic event by Rwanda. I'm really happy to see it. Not to mention the cars that came at the event. The official championship winning cars of this year Formula One championship. The individuals that were in attendance include the president of Rwanda, Paul Kagame. Paul Kagame himself handing the winning trophy to the world champion Max Verstappen for 2024. But this is it. This is the moment where Rwanda brings Formula One back to Africa. And the interesting thing on this development is that they're aiming to bring this back to Africa by 2026. So apparently, talks are on schedule to bring a Formula One race to Rwanda by 2026. I must say, that is very good to hear. And I do hope this gets done on time, because this will be a moment in history. We do have a very prominent figure in Formula One, Lewis Hamilton. He's a black driver, and he's never raced in F1 on the African continent. Africa has not hosted a Formula One race in 32 or 33 years. Now, for a driver as Lewis Hamilton with African heritage to race on the African continent, that will be phenomenal. And I hope I get the opportunity to attend. I really do. Now, some more information on this. The new Formula One track in Rwanda, it will be developed close to the Bugesera airport near Kigali. The circuit, which will make the full use of hilly terrain where it is being constructed, is being designed by former F1 driver Alexandra Watts. That is fantastic, because if you don't know this, Rwanda is the country of 1,000 hills. I think if they use the landscape to its advantage, they're going to create a brilliant Formula One racetrack. But not just a racetrack for Formula One racing, but a racetrack for all sorts of racing. And keep in mind the closeness to the airport, because Rwanda is not a country with access to the ocean. So building a racetrack that's supposed to attract a lot of investments and a lot of racing activities close to the airport is fantastic. Because using airports, that's the way they're going to get the cars in and out of the country. So putting on an event at that racetrack, being so close to the airport, It's absolutely genius. The FIA Prize Gala in Rwanda capital Kigali on Friday, the country president revealed the ambition to secure the Grand Prix. And the president said, and I quote, "I'm happy to formally announce that Rwanda is bidding to bring the thrills of racing back to Africa by hosting a Formula One Grand Prix," he said, end quote. He also said a big thanks to Stefano Domenicali and the entire team at F1 for good progress in our discussions so far. I assure you we're approaching this opportunity with the seriousness and the commitment it deserves. Well spoken by the president of Rwanda. Now, efforts to bring F1 back to Africa has been fully supported by Lewis Hamilton, who said earlier this year it was wrong for there not to be a race there in Africa. It was wrong. And that's true. Africa is a big continent and so many opportunities to bring racing to the African continent. Asked if the time was right to go back to the continent, Hamilton said, and I quote, 100%. We can't be adding races in other locations and continue to ignore Africa, which is the rest of the world just takes from. He also said, and I quote, "No one gives anything to Africa. There's a huge amount of work that needs to be done there. I think a lot of the world that haven't been there don't realize how beautiful the place is and how vast it is. I think having a Grand Prix there, it would really be able to highlight just how great the place is and bringing in tourism and all sorts of things. Why not on that continent?" he said, end quote. Well said by Lewis Hamilton. Brilliant statement, and I'm happy to see progress have been made. Progress is also being made for F1 to return to South Africa, and that is seeming more and more like a real possibility, with South Africa having a great location to host an F1 race. I mean, one of the best. So I want to know, what do you think about this development? Are you excited about this? Do you think they can actually get this done by 2026? Because that's assuming that the race is in the year 2026. Next year is 2025, so we don't have that long to wait. So I look forward to this. Thank you for watching, subscribe, and I will see you in our next video.